In the heart of New Orleans' French Quarter, nestled between the lively jazz clubs and voodoo shops, there stood an inconspicuous hotel known as the Whispering Shadows Inn. While its exterior exuded an inviting charm, those who crossed its threshold soon discovered the eerie secrets hidden within. A young couple, Sarah and David, decided to celebrate their anniversary with a weekend getaway in the city. Drawn in by the inn's romantic reputation, they booked a room for the weekend. From the moment they entered, an unsettling stillness hung in the air, and the lobby was adorned with peculiar paintings of forlorn-looking individuals. Their room, the Chamber of Echoes, had an antique mirror that seemed to trap the memories of all who had stayed there before. As the night fell, the couple heard faint whispers, as if the walls themselves were trying to convey a dreadful story. Uneasy but intrigued, they decided to investigate further. Sarah, holding a flickering candle, stood before the eerie mirror. Her reflection didn't mimic her movements. Instead, it seemed to depict scenes of anguish and torment, a woman in a blood-stained gown, a man writhing in pain, and other nightmarish images. David rushed to her side, and together they tried to look away from the mirror's haunting visions. As the clock struck midnight, their room plunged into darkness. The whispers grew louder, and the temperature plummeted. In the shadows, they saw ghostly figures moving, their faces twisted in agony. One by one, these apparitions drew closer, their breath chilling the air. The couple desperately tried to flee, but the door wouldn't budge. Panic set in as the phantoms closed in. Sarah felt icy fingers wrap around her wrist, and David heard a mournful voice whisper, "Join us." They were pulled into the nightmarish realm of the Whispering Shadows Inn. Time lost meaning as they wandered through the hotel's endless corridors, encountering tortured souls from different eras, all trapped in a macabre limbo. Despair threatened to consume them as they realized they were now part of the inn's spectral collection. With the first light of dawn, the spectral grip loosened, and Sarah and David found themselves back in their room. The mirror now bore their reflections, their eyes haunted by the horrors they had witnessed. They fled the Whispering Shadows Inn, vowing never to return, forever scarred by the night they became entwined with the tormented spirits of a place where shadows whispered secrets best left untold. Deep in the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, nestled amidst a thick shroud of mist and towering pines, stood the long-forgotten Blackwood Inn. This once grand hotel had seen better days, but now its faded elegance was a haunting echo of its former glory. Few dared to venture into its decaying halls, and those who did often spoke of the unsettling aura that enveloped the place. One chilly autumn evening, a group of 5 friends, led by their insatiable curiosity and love for the paranormal, decided to spend a night at the Blackwood Inn. Armed with flashlights and sleeping bags, they arrived just as dusk settled over the forest. The inn, with its ornate iron gates and ivy-covered facade, stood before them, an eerie sentinel in the gathering darkness. As they entered the lobby, the old grandfather clock ominously ticked in time with their racing hearts. The reception desk was adorned with a tarnished bell, and a guest book lay open, its pages filled with faded ink. It was the entries in this guest book that sent shivers down their spines. Each account told a tale of guests who had mysteriously vanished during their stay, their entries concluding with the haunting phrase, "They never left." Ignoring their growing unease, they ascended a creaky staircase that led to a dimly lit corridor on the second floor. It was here that the true horrors of the Blackwood Inn began to unfold. Flickering candles lined the hallway, casting eerie shadows on the peeling wallpaper. Strange whispers echoed through the air, and they swore they saw shadowy figures darting in and out of doorways. As the night deepened, their unease turned to dread. Doors slammed shut on their own, and the temperature plummeted. The friends gathered in a room at the end of the hall, hoping to find solace in each other's presence. But there was no escape from the mounting terror. In the dead of night, they heard footsteps approaching their room. Frozen with fear, they watched the doorknob slowly turn, and the door swung open with a bone-chilling creak. A ghostly figure stood in the doorway, its hollow eyes fixated on them. The friends screamed in terror, and the apparition vanished, leaving behind an icy chill. The remainder of the night was a torment of ghostly cries, unseen hands brushing against their skin, and menacing whispers that seemed to come from the very walls. They huddled together, praying for dawn to break and release them from the clutches of the Blackwood Inn. As the first rays of sunlight pierced through the tattered curtains, the haunting ceased, and the friends wasted no time fleeing the accursed place. They left the Blackwood Inn forever scarred by the night's events, swearing never to return to a place where guests truly never left. To this day, the Blackwood Inn stands in its desolate solitude, a crumbling monument to the eerie mysteries that lurk within its walls, awaiting the next group of daring souls who dare to venture into its haunted depths. As the clock struck midnight, John found himself on a desolate, winding road deep in the heart of the forest. The moon cast eerie shadows through the dense trees, creating an unsettling atmosphere. The only company he had was the rhythmic hum of his car's engine. John had heard whispers of strange happenings in these woods, tales of ghostly apparitions and mysterious disappearances. He had dismissed them as mere folklore until now. Suddenly, his headlights illuminated a figure standing in the middle of the road. He slammed on the brakes, and his heart pounded in his chest. The figure, clad in tattered clothing, turned slowly to face him. It was a young girl, her eyes hollow and lifeless. Her voice, barely a whisper, echoed through the silence, "Help me." John's instincts screamed danger, but something compelled him to step out of his car. As he approached the girl, he noticed an old, abandoned house in the distance, its windows shattered and the roof sagging. She pointed toward it. With trembling legs, he followed her gaze and reluctantly made his way to the dilapidated structure. The air grew colder, and the eerie silence was punctuated by distant whispers. Inside the house, John discovered a room covered in old photographs of missing people, their faces frozen in terror. Panicking, he turned to leave, but the door slammed shut behind him, trapping him inside. The girl's laughter echoed through the house as her once feeble form transformed into something sinister and otherworldly. It was too late, he had become the latest addition to the haunted photographs on the wall, forever lost in the darkness of the night. The forest road remained deserted, the unsettling legend of the haunted woods claiming another unsuspecting victim on that creepy, moonlit night.